Namaste everyone. I am Suresh Vishwakarma, Saraswati Shishu Mandir, Marutiganj, Pipli Naka, Ujjain. I am here to present my lesson plan, which is according to Vidyabharti, Panchpadi and NEP 2020 and NCF 2023. As per the guidance of these books, I have prepared my lesson plan, which I will present in सामान्य आचार्य प्रशिक्षण वर्ग in 12 days. So, I would like to present my lesson plan. How can we prepare our lesson plan? Here is some PDF which show you how I present my lesson plan. In our lesson plan, we have to mention 6 tools, 21st learning skills and pedagogy strategies, learning objectives, learning outcomes. So, this is the lesson plan of class 12th English lesson 1. The lesson will complete in 4 periods and each period takes 40 minutes. So, first I would like to explain my first topic, learning objectives. Learning objectives is that the learning objective of the lesson is that to develop basic skills of language as listening, speaking, reading and writing, participating in the classroom process. Second, to understand the new vocabulary and use them properly in their daily life. Third one is that to use grammar and grammatical structures in the right way in daily life situation, so as to make their expression perfect. To promote extensive reading of stories, novels and biography or anecdotes. So, to make learner able to interpret from given text. Here are the some learning objectives, and last one, to develop a sense of nationalism and selfless service among students. Here are the some basic learning objectives of language we acquire after presenting our lesson. We get such type of learning objectives we have decided, and after completion of the lesson, the students will be able to learn new words and phrases such as in great dread of, in unison, content on the thumb at the edges, a great bustles, etc. and infer their meaning from the context. Engage in the classroom discussion, group activities and share their understanding about Little French and his teacher M. Himmel. Imagine and analyze the situation of those times. Those times situation, talk about the consequences of war, explain the importance of language, talk about the need of communal harmony, read literary texts and enjoyment, pleasure and encompass interpretation and appreciate character, themes, plots and incidents. We have mentioned in these for getting these learning outcomes, we use ICT, IKS. IKS means Indian Knowledge System, Bharti Gyan Parampara. Karnos, here we are talking about the, according to Vidyabharti, Gyanendri and Karmendriya. These are called Bahaykaran. So, we use in learning process these Gyanendris and Karmendriyas. Learning process and strategies, mind mapping process, reading and reflection, dramatization, group work and presentation, video presentation related to the story. These are my learning strategies. In the context of Vidyabharti, our learning process is divided into 5 steps. First step is called Adhiti. Adhiti means introduction of the content. Teacher begins the class reciting Om 3 times and meditation for 1 minute by closing eyes. Teacher asks a few questions about the language, mind mapping based on the response of the students. Based on the previous knowledge of the students, the teacher content the textbook. Like some questions are as, how many of you know speak? Who can speak? The students will reply, anyone can. Sir, I speak, I speak. Which language do you speak? Which language do you speak? Then the students will reply any language like Hindi, English, Germany, France, etc. How do you feel when someone forces you to speak another language? How do you feel? Yes. How? So, this lesson is like in the same way. This is very shocked situation. So, the story is the theme, the pain that is inflicted on the people of territory by its conquerors by taking away the right to study or speak their own language. Here is the same situation when their language is taken away by the Germany and forced them, and sub theme is the story is the students and teacher attitudes to learning and teaching. This story shows, so the story's name is Alfonso Daudet, the last lesson. This story is written by Alfonso Daudet, who was born in 1840, whose death was 1897, was a French novelist and short story writer. The last lesson is the set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War, 1817, which is fought 1817 to 1871, in which France was defeated and Prussia led by Bismarck. Prussian then consist of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland and parts of Austria. So, in this story, the French district of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. So, कि दोनों जिले Prussian hands चले गए थे. Read the story to find out what effect this had on life of school. इसका लाइफ पे क्या इफेक्ट गिरता है. So, in this story there are two protagonists. Little French, he is telling his story in the lesson, and M. Hemal, who is the teacher of Little French. So, in this story only two characters, M. Hemal, the teacher, and the student, the narrator, Little French. So, look at the first of all, I started for school very late that morning. I started for school that very late. मैं उस दिन स्कूल के लिए बहुत देर से रवाना हुआ. That morning and was और था मैं in great dread of a scolding. Here are two words. Look at these. The first is in great dread of. Great dread of means in a great fear of, and scolding means fear of punishment, or who gave him punishment. So especially because M. Hemal. M. Hemal, who is M. Hemal here? M. Hemal is the protagonist and the teacher of Little French. M. Hemal had said that especially because, खासकर इसलिए कि M. Hemal had said that, M. Hemal ने कहा था कि he would question us on participles, वो उससे participle के ऊपर question पूछेगा. What is participle? Participle is a term of grammar like gerund, infinitive, noun, pronoun. On the same way, participle is also a term of English grammar. What said Mr. M. Hemal? M. Hemal, what said? Give me answer. M. Hemal had said, complete the sentence. M. Hemal had said that he would question us. Who will question us? Answer. Please give me the answer. Who will question us? M. Hemal. On which topic M. Hemal will ask a question? M. Hemal would ask a question on the topic participle, and I did not. Here the little French student thinking and saying to himself, I started for school very late that morning and was in a great dread of scolding. उस दिन मैं बहुत देर से स्कूल गया और बहुत डरा हुआ था, स्पेशली बिकॉज एम हेमल, खास करके एम हेमल के लिए, एम हेमल से डरा हुआ था. क्यों? बिकॉज ही एम हेमल हैड सेड दैट, एम हेमल ने कहा था कि ही वुड आस्क अ क्वेश्चन ऑन पार्टिसिपल्स, वो पार्टिसिपल पर क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. एंड आई डिड नॉट नो द फर्स्ट वर्ड अबाउट देम, एंड आई डिड नॉट नो द फर्स्ट वर्ड अबाउट देम. सो फॉर अ मोमेंट आई थॉट ऑफ running away. For a moment, here for a moment, कुछ पल के लिए, I thought of running away and spending the day out of the doors. घर से भाग जाकर कहीं और दिन बिताने की सोची. Who is thinking? M. Hemal, because of M. Hemal had asked a question, so little French is thinking here. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirruping. कितना सुहाना. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirruping at the edge of the woods. The birds were chirruping. सारे जंगल में पक्षी, woods. Here look at the words wood. When we write wood, wood means लकड़ी, but woods is called forest. So woods is called forest. तो पक्षी कहाँ पर चहचहा रहे थे? जंगल के किनारों पर. Edge मतलब किनारा. Edge of the woods, जंगल के किनारे, edge of the forest. Edge means corner. And in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldier were drilling. और आरा मशीन जो थी सामिल के पीछे, Prussian soldier were drilling. Why this situation? Because France was defeated by Germany, and so such process is going on the particular place. It was all much more tempting. Here French is thinking he is more attracting of this situation. Which situation? The first situation is the day was so warm, so bright. Second situation, the birds were chirruping at the edge of woods. And third situation is that the open field back of the sawmills के पीछे के जो खुले मैदान है, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. वहाँ पर Prussian soldiers coming and going. Drilling is a process of military. It was all much more tempting, much more, बहुत ज़्यादा tempting. Here is tempting. Tempting means attracting something. Then the rule of for participles. These all things attract him more, but I had the strength to resist. Like, but he want to say here that he has a power to resist, मीन्स टू अपोज द सिचुएशन एंड हरीड ऑफ टू स्कूल, और तेजी से रवाना होता हूं, लेकिन मेरे अंदर ये पावर है कि मैं इस चीज से इसका विरोध कर सकता हूं और इसका सामना कर सकता हूं और मैं आगे बढ़ सकता हूं। When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. When I passed the town hall, जब मैं टाउन हॉल के पास से गुजरा, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Here is a bulletin board, new words, bulletin board. There are two types of board, bulletin boards and notice board. In school curriculum, we used a notice board, but on public place, we use bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. पिछले 2 सालों से सारी बुरी खबरें वहां से आ रही थी। Why? The reason is that the Franco-Prussian War was going on that particular situation, and the news is that the lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officers. So here, when the time of going to school, French passed the town hall and was a crowd in front of the bulletin board, and look at the crowd, a huge crowd in front of the bulletin board, and he thought himself, what can be the matter now? अब क्या हो गया है? Because he knew that here one slot is completed, so I would like to suggest to you, please read slot wise and find the difficult words. This is your activity, and after please sit in groups and discuss, read comprehensively and discuss which types of difficulty do you find, and share me so that I may be able to ask you some questions.